Thank you very much, Jen, and welcome everybody. My name is Brian Skanderbeg, and I'm going to talk about GFG resources today. I'm a geologist, I'm an explorationist, and I'm an optimist, so I will make forward-looking statements. When we set up GFG 5 years ago, it was really with a thesis to be a district-scale explorer. And I talked to you about our assets that we've put together in Timmins and in Wyoming, and I'm going to talk to you about our results. We're all large owners, we're all very committed to this, and we've all done it before. So we're focused in North America. We're a team that has a great track record of finding mines, building mines, operating them, and we're going to focus our talk today on Timmins. Before I go into the details, just to touch base on the financial side, we're about a 25 million market cap company. We just closed the book on our financing. We'll raise about $4.5 million. Largest shareholders are Alamos Gold, the Lending family, a number of other North American institutions. This sets us up with a very strong balance sheet. It sets us up to have a very productive year this year. We're a team that's done this before. Patrick Downey, Arnold Glass, and Brian Booth, myself, we're all part of Claude Resources, which we sold to SSR for over $300 million. So we're a team that's got a good track record. When you think about the challenge of precious metals and the opportunities that we have, you know, the demand side, as Chen has talked about, is going in one direction. And I think you've got to think about the supply side. So I throw this graph up here as an explorationist. It really shows a 30-year trend of discovery where ounces are more difficult to find. They're certainly worth more. And I think what the conclusion I came to is they will very much be sought after and they will be acquired. And this is all part of our strategy with GFG, where we go, how we look, where we want to allocate capital. So in Timmins, we're focused on consolidating large tracts of ground where we feel there's very high potential for discovery, and I'm going to talk to you about some of these. The Penn project is west of Timmins. It's the bottom right. We put together about 500 square kilometers of ground there. We have two other properties as well. What do we do different? How do we solve this problems of discoveries? You invest in smart people. You invest in people that have done it before. You invest in people that are looking in belts that have yielded large systems before and that have immense infrastructure. And when I think about that, this belt hosts 150 million ounces of gold. That's the most of pretty much any place in the world. Per square kilometer, it's a very, very highly endowed belt. We went here because there's a lot of gold, but we went here because there's lots of infrastructure and lots of capital being allocated into this belt. So we're focusing on Goldarm. We have Penn and Doré, but in that map, you have a 36,000 ton a day mill being built by AM Gold. You've got Newmont, you've got Pan American, you've got Agnico Eagle. You have an immense infrastructure base. We're focused on Goldarm, and we're focused in that area. There's an advanced project there called Montclair. And I'm going to talk to you mostly about that project today. When I look at this map, I think there's immense potential. I think you can still find it in the search space, first search space, and by that I mean very shallow. There's lots of cover in this belt. There's lots of elements to be found. And I think Timmins is a great place to make the next world-class discovery. GFG holds 800 square kilometers in total here. The Goldarm block is about 200 square kilometers. It's a 30-kilometer block of ground we put together 14 months ago through about 5 different transactions. It abuts Agnico Eagle. We border things like Fengib. We're certainly neighbors to Newmont and Pan Americans to the east. So we explore a tract of ground in a structural corridor called the Pipestone Deformation Zone. This is one of the main breaks going out east of Timmins. It remains quite immature. It's remarkable how little drilling has been done along a break where you can say there's 1 million ounces here, there's 4 million ounces there, there's 20 million ounces just off the map to the right. This truly is elephant country. And GFG is exploring here. We're drilling economic hits. We're taking Montclair towards a resource base. I'm going to show you we're uncovering economic zones of mineralization. We're growing a very large system, and we're doing it in an area where there's immense infrastructure. When we bought this property, it had 100 holes in it. The intriguing thing was that of the 80 in the deposit, or 90 in the deposit, 80 of them were pre-1967. They're old holes. They only focused on the high grade, but they showed us where the system was. About a kilometer of gold system drilled down to 100 meters, remained open. A second corridor called the Kanamax Zone remained open, and we saw immense potential here. Geologically, the vendor drilled some vertical holes in here. He showed a bulk tonnage potential system on 2 sections within that 1 kilometer zone. We saw good potential at depth, and we saw a second corridor in the footwall back to the south about 500 meters away. So this is what we bought. Cost us a couple $1 million. We've drilled 50 holes here in 12,000 meters over the last 14 months. We've drilled intercepts like 5 grams over 25 meters, 10 grams over 16 meters, 70 meters at 1.6 grams, and I think we're drilling off what could become a significant resource base here. So we've been very newsy. We're now cashed up again. We will continue to be newsy. When you look at what we executed from a drill program, the first phase, we went back out here. One of our first holes was 5 grams over 25 meters. That was the best hole drilled on the property ever, and it was hole 5. It included a number of other zones, 8 over 8, and you can see the numbers here. On the cross sections on the right, we think about how mineable this style of system might be. We're above 120 meters depth. We're below about 15 meters of overburden. We have a relatively continuously mineralized rhyolite package, and we have high-grade units in the footwall. Second phase, drilling, we stepped out, we tested this system over about 1 kilometer. We continued to outline very economic intercepts. Anytime you're seeing 20, 30, 40, 80, 100, 150 gram meter products, you're actually seeing economic mineralization. So this is what we did last year. Stepping into the end of last year, Q4, we actually drilled our best hole again, 10 grams over 16 meters. This was 120 meters depth. In cross-section, you can see how it links directly to the mineralization that's around us. We're outlining continuity at a very shallow level, at a very significant grade. And sitting in the hanging wall is a nice bulk tonnage zone. So I think we're outlining a very relevant system here that has good continuity. We're seeing good potential at depth as well. Our deepest hole is only down to about 300 meters. It returned an economic intercept of around a 50 gram meter product, and it remains open in all directions. We took a step-out hole 500 meters away. We completed this hole last fall. Great-looking veins, great-looking sulfides, pending assays. There's no drilling out here historically, and we have a couple of kilometers yet of ground before we get to the edge of the property boundary. So I think GFG is really onto something here at Montclair. We like how the rocks look like. We like the results we've seen so far. We have pending results, and we have a balance sheet that now services a very aggressive program this year. I've talked to you about 1 kilometer. We have 30-kilometer belt here. There's elephants all around us, 5, 10, 15 million ounce systems in this camp. We're less than 25 kilometers from 4 mills. That's relevant from a cost of capital, from creating an economic deposit. What does it take to make an economic deposit? Well, certainly a lot smaller system here than it would be in the Northwest Territories. I think Timmins East is very much an emerging camp. I think you can put Moneta and other neighbors, Fengib, on the map of creating endowments that will yield infrastructure and bring infrastructure. GFG holds 30 kilometers in this belt. We are immense landholders. We've now permitted 4 other targets across this belt, and we will be testing a number of those this year as well. When we think about the budget and the program objectives this year, we'll drill 10 to 12,000 meters. We'll spend $3 million into the ground. We'll build some resource solids and start understanding how this translates into size and scale. And we'll build a pipeline of targets across this belt. We think there's more to be found here. I haven't spoken on Penn and Doré. They are 500 square kilometers between Timmins and Borden. They are 100% controlled by GFG. They're great-looking projects. They're earlier stage opportunities. They sit sandwiched between Newmont and Pan American and IM Gold. So there's very much value in strategic positions. GFG allocates our capital into Canada, into Timmins. We also control the Rattlesnake Hills district. This is optioned to a private U.S. company. And the question here is, what if in situ mining could be brought to gold? They did it for uranium. They're trying it for copper. Why not gold? Our partners are trying to bring the technology into the gold space, and we've given them the project to work on. We optioned them a project that has $40 million spent on it. It has an immense gold system, marginal grades, half gram plus or minus, 500,000 ounces. it's perfect to try to develop in situ mining on. We've done some preliminary leach testing using an iodide ligand, so there's no cyanide in this stuff. And they're trying to replace cyanide in the gold industry, and if they can, they'll be very, very wealthy. And GFG will have a carried interest in the project and exposure to their technology. So it's a call option on a unique new technology for GFG. We're not spending money here. We have a carried interest in the project, and our partners are spending money on the Rattlesnake Hills in Wyoming. So when you think about GFG, I've talked you through 2 district scale assets, 800 square kilometers in Timmins, a team that's found gold, built mines, operated mines, and sold them to the benefit of shareholders. We're well funded now with a balance sheet that allows us to be aggressive. There's a lot of irons in the fire and a lot of ways you could win off this company. So I thank you for the time and welcome any questions you may have at our booth outside. Thank you.